There's no Arcade1Ups behind me? How am I supposed to form an opinion? Well, over the holiday break, I had the opportunity to fully play and test out my brother-in-law's Arcade1Ups. It's the first time for me diving into this, and if you're interested in buying one, I think you're going to want to watch my video first, but warning, some strong opinions are ahead.
Calling all retro gamers!
Hello everybody, I am RetroKill-9, and welcome to the Calling All Retro Gamers channel. Today I'm going to go ahead and talk about an Arcade1Up that I happened to get my hands on over the holiday break due to my brother-in-law owned one of these. And I thought it would be important to give a perspective from somebody who's not a huge Arcade1Up fan, who doesn't own any of these arcades, who doesn't have a stake in this, and is not a dedicated YouTube channel to Arcade1Up. So I'm going to give my honest opinion, be prepared for some brutal feedback ahead, and please keep in mind, if you do love Arcade1Ups and all that, I'm not going to take away from your experience. If you do want to buy these things and do enjoy, that's on you, and I do respect if you are an Arcade1Up collector, but I just wanted to give my personal opinion for everyone else out there. Let's take a look at the overall cab. In just a moment, we are going to take a look at the different viewing angles of the screen, and I do love the overall Joust theme. I love how we don't see all the multiple games. It's just dedicated to Joust. I wish the screw holes would have had covers, but you know, it is what it is. I'm also not a big fan of risers, but this one I think looks really nice. It's labeled Joust. The control deck looks really good. We're going to talk about here in a little bit how it plays, but from a looks perspective, the way the buttons and everything are laid out is just fine. Now, one of my favorite features is this husky stool. Even though it's not official, I do love it. And the coin doors look really nice, and they do pop, which is fantastic. Now, another nice feature of this is the Marquee. We're going to see here in a moment. The Marquee looks really nice. The colors pop. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like at night, and at night I think it even looks better. You can see here that just really pops. They did a fantastic job on the Marquee itself. Now we're going to take a look at the screen, and you can see dead on, straight ahead. The thing looks freaking beautiful. None of the colors look washed out. Everything looks great, just as you would expect. And I've tested this for both 1 and 2 player. It looks fine. And just to show you the angles, when we swing the camera around here, now you see once you get way out here, you can start to see that it looks washed out. And same with the other side, you can see that it looks washed out as well. Realistically, you're not going to be playing from either of these angles, but I did want to point out the quality of the LCD screen, but if you're playing it from 1 or 2 players straight on, it's going to work just fine. So you've seen how the overall cab looks, you've seen the artwork, you've seen that the screen is pretty good despite the extreme viewing angles. Now we got to talk about the control panel. Me personally, controls are king, and before we talk about the control panel, I want you just to see for yourself how it is. Okay, so now that you've seen the clickiness and the cheapness of the controls, yes, the buttons are passable, and if I'm being totally honest, the joystick itself is complete garbage. As a matter of fact, while playing Tapper a few times, had one of the balls come off. I was able to adapt and kind of get used to it because that is a kind of a twin stick type of game here, but there definitely was some dropped inputs. I definitely wasn't happy with that. If I personally owned the machine, I would go ahead and upgrade the controls or buttons. No questions about it. Now that we have talked about the controls, I do need to jump back and talk about the screen because I feel like it would be a disservice if I didn't mention this. So you can see here, this image, not to brag, but these are my scores for Root Beer Tapper. And I'm not going to deny that I did have a lot of fun playing this game. However, you'll notice that the blacks and the grays are pretty washed out. And unfortunately, when you do see any type of background, that's just how it looks on the monitor. There's no way you can get around that. But it is one thing I thought was important that I did need to address here. I mean, there definitely is fun to be had playing the thing here. I did enjoy going through all the various games, except for Mortal Kombat, which I got my butt kicked. But besides that, I did enjoy Defender once I got used to the controls, although I did kind of wish that they had that printed out. So it would be another thing that I would change. I probably would go ahead and, for the controls, I'd probably get a custom printout showing all the Defender's controls there. Now, despite it being fun and all that, the biggest thing, of course, is the build quality, and the height. It was nice being on a stool, although sometimes I did like to stand. But, I definitely had fun. There were times when I could just kind of pop into the room, the game was already turned on, I could just play a few games, go back to doing whatever, and I really did enjoy that. So I'm not going to lie, it was nice having a machine and going and playing it. However, the big issue that we have here is it's going to be the price for the quality that you get. And you can see here from Arcade1Up itself, it's $500, and if we take a look at Walmart, it's $50 off. I did do a search on Amazon, and it's not, it's not available. So really, for the price that they're charging, no, it's definitely not worth that for the quality. Arcade1Up could definitely do better. Now, if you happen to get this at maybe the sub 200, it might be worth it. But my biggest issue with Arcade1Up itself is that you're going to have to upgrade the controls. You're going to have to upgrade the buttons. Why isn't the screen a little bit better? I wish that they'd used better materials. The game's played well. The emulation was fantastic. I did have a lot of fun. But if I'm going to plunk down that type of money, I do demand better quality. So for me, as far as getting an Arcade1Up, my personal thoughts are, if you know what you're getting into and you enjoy it, that's fine. For me, it's a pass. I would rather dabble into the AtGames Legends or the iArcade or get something custom made, and there's always the option of getting a real arcade machine as well. But that's going to be for a whole nother video. It's a hard pass. Arcade1Up, you got to do better. You can make your own conclusion from this video. And if you happen to find it out there through the YouTubeverse, if you could please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps me and Rich out. We do come out with a retro game podcast, once every 2 weeks. So if you could please go and subscribe to the channel, I think you'd like it. And while you're here, go ahead and check out some other videos. Please comment below. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. All feedback is welcome.